Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 222. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for Rated G, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. I just saw the PS5 conference, Robinson.
Oh my God, it's incredible. It's incredible. What's going on, man? It's incredible. I'm excited. We're going to talk about it later in the show.
We are.
But I got to say, it's official. The console wars are back. The console wars are back. It's official.
It was good. And I think
it was really good. Come on.
Wait. Before we get into anything, right? Because it was a little bit of a tone shift from the last episode that we did to this current episode, and I personally want to say we didn't necessarily talk about this, but I think I can also speak for you. But we both want to say that shit's still fucked. Shit's all crazy, but video games are going to help us through. All right. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, because there was a lot of news that came out in the last 2 weeks. All right. So,
I didn't know you were going to take it down that road, but I will say last week, it was off the cuff. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scripted. I know we were sort of all over the place because it was just emotion, right? And it was just off the top. And we will address that later in the show.
We got some stuff related to it.
Things are in the news that still relate to that, and it's still sad that I have to continuously talk about this, right? But we have to talk about this because we have to bring it to light.
You got to keep the conversation going.
Got to keep the conversation going. And the biggest thing for me is protests are nice, but what happens afterwards, right? We have to stick together and keep the conversation going to create change, positive change. But with that said, man, Sony did a great job.
It was amazing. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts in just a little bit, but I think we are, and we do not agree a lot of the time, but we are in just about 100% agreement that Sony knocked it out of the park, right?
They did. I got to
that ball over the uprights. I mean,
I got to be honest. I am now highly anticipating Microsoft's conference in July because they got to bring it now. They have to bring it.
Well, exactly.
Right?
There is still a lot to be seen. We haven't seen Halo Infinite. We haven't seen the UI for any of these consoles.
Well, I mean, other than Halo, what else? Right? What else?
There you go. That is the big question, and that is what we can get hyped for. Right? There's going to be more stuff on the horizon. All right, whether it be Forza Horizon or Horizon Zero Dawn.
To show Horizon Zero Dawn? I don't think they're going to show Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't.
No, I'm just,
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the things that are on the horizon. You can't see me, but I'm winking my eye. Right.
No, I got you. Yeah, no. We definitely don't want to get ahead of the story.
But before we get into that, Dave, how was your weekend?
All things considered, things are okay. We are recording on a Friday night. A little peek behind the curtains. So the weekend just started. I can say this, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the show before. I may have. I know we talked about it. I got tested. I got the swab up the nose. I got the little blood test thing.
Well, you got tested for COVID-19.
I got tested for everything. Yeah, exactly. I got tested for COVID-19. Yes.
All right. You got to put things in context. You can't just openly say you got tested.
Yeah. I got tested. I just assume everyone thinks it's COVID-19 related. So I did that, one, because we were both at PAX, and two, I have come in contact with some people. And three, my parents really were making this case for you have to come home, right? Because
it's Father's Day weekend. Come on.
It is Father's Day weekend, and it's
you miss Mother's Day.
Well, it's also my dad's birthday, so it's a twofer.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. So it's just boom, boom. So yeah, and they were like, look, you got to come home, right? So I have a brother who's down in Florida. It's not easy for him to come back, right? It's a plane ticket. It's interacting with a ton of people. It's going through the airport. So it's a whole big thing. So he can't really do it, but I can do it. And I've been trying to make a stand. I'm like, look, it's not good for me to come home because I could infect you, right? I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you. And they are
at that age range. They are
very much in that age range.
Risk.
They're in their mid to late 70s. I'm not gonna go ahead and mince words. I was a late baby in their life. So yeah, they could very much.
They could very 70s? Much.
Yeah.
So that means that they were in their late 20s when they had you. Man. Okay,
they were in their late 30s. Your math needs a little bit of work. Yeah. So I'm going to be going home. I'm bringing my swim trunks. I'm going to the pool. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to do everything I can to not infect my parents. My dad's coming in to pick me up, so I don't.
But you got tested. Did you get the results back? Did you get the results back?
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. I didn't actually say. Yeah, I'm good. I'm clean.
Well, did you get the antibody test, right?
I did both. So I never had it. Which I wish I did, because they say that, if you have it, there's a good chance you won't get it again. It's not necessarily proven, but, it's kind of like, oh, you got chicken pox once. You're not going to get it again. There's only one strain, right? That's why you're supposed to get it when you're young.
I 100% believe I had it. I was sick. Early on, in March. We did the show. I never really said anything. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to scare anybody or anything like that. But I was definitely sick for a longer period of time than normal. Right? I was sick
you had some of the symptoms, I'm assuming, or
not really. I didn't have a fever. It felt like a sinus cold, but it lingered for a long time. I had it for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I for sure think I had it. I'll be surprised if I take the antibody test and I don't have any.
You should go and get the test, man. Look. I went down to the City MD, and they were like, "You have your insurance card and this and that." Well, if you remember, I'm pretty sure I told it on the show too. I lost my wallet at PAX, so I lost all my insurance cards among everything else that I had. And they're like, "That's fine. Don't worry about it." Because it's free anyway, right? They're not going to charge you for it, but you're supposed to have your insurance card so they can work out all that stuff. And they're
well, I think it's free. I definitely want to get it now that New York is opening up slowly but surely. So at some point in July, I would like to go get tested.
I mean, I was in and out in 10 minutes, like whoever's there in the waiting room obviously is really going to be your wait time. But I was 5 minutes in there. Doctor asked me what was going on. He shoved the thing up my nose. I cried like a baby and I was out.
I'm good with that. I'll just get the antibody test.
It's fine. You're only crying for 2 seconds, and then it's fine. They give you a tissue, and you're out.
I'm good.
No, you're not about it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the antibody test. There we go. So, all right. Well, you're going to see your parents this weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to chill out. I got really nothing. Father's Day has always been sort of a sad day for me because
Yeah.
my father passed away on Father's Day.
Mm-hmm. Oh my.
So, never been really. Father's Day has never been a thing for me, and I guess it won't be until I'm actually a father.
Well,
But,
I mean, it's a day of remembrance. Maybe is that fair to say? You know.
Again, it's bittersweet.
All right.
It's a bittersweet day. But I'm just gonna chill out, play some video games, and
good deal.
surf the net for anything that that's
Surf
going
the
on.
net.
Like
What is this? The late '90s?
surf the net. Yeah, man, surfing. I'm
You gonna
surfing.
ride on the information superhighway?
Oh my god, I haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah.
The information superhighway.
Oh.
Man, I actually saw what was that? Oh my god, what was that video game movie that came out
The Wizard?
last year? No, last year.
Oh, last year?
Yeah, it came out last year.
No,
Steven Spielberg produced it.
not Ready Player One.
Yeah, I think it was Ready Player One.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Ready Player One,
Maybe.
where it was like all the video game characters and you like the avatar, like everyone was in a VR.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I seen that recently.
Mm-hmm.
I know it came out in 2018. Sorry, it came out in 2018.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I saw that recently. It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I love the callback to all the different characters, all the video game characters. I think they could have had a little bit. They could have had some more video game characters because a lot of people were just background, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of like, oh shit. Yeah, the book was better, but also not amazing. It was a very fun read. Don't get me wrong. And I will say this about the difference between the book and the movie. The whole car ride scene with the DeLorean and all that did not happen in the book. They did
obviously
They did a virtual joust match between this knight and Parzival, and like that was the thing to get the first key. There wasn't like the big race, and they did the like big race to say like, hey, look, it's the DeLorean, it's great, right? And it's it's a nice big set piece, and you can throw Transformers in there and all that. Like it visually looked really cool, but
I wish their avatars, like their actual avatars, as they were in the movie, like were like sort of well-known video game characters. I understand licensing. The licensing, but it would have been cool. It would have made it a little bit more fun if their virtual avatars were characters
they're based
were familiar
off, like,
with
Nathan Drake or Mario or Zelda or whatever. You're like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, Mortal Kombat.
Oh, there you go. The Scorpion.
Yeah, that would have been cool. So I saw that movie. That was pretty cool. I saw talking about Scorpion. I saw the Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge anime as an cartoon, whatever. I watched it. It's actually free if you buy Mortal Kombat 11. The all-in-one deluxe edition that's coming out.
XL version, yeah.
Well, it's coming out next week, I think. It's coming out like the next few weeks. Coming out this month, definitely. I pre-ordered it for the Switch because I just realized I didn't have a Mortal Kombat game for the Switch. I have a Street Fighter game for the Switch, not Mortal Kombat. It's actually the movie is free if you pre-order it or buy it from GameStop.
Right.
The GameStop will give you I guess a code for the movie.
Okay.
I thought I rented it on I rented it online. It was pretty good. It was okay.
Is it like is it hand drawn or 3D?
Oh no, definitely 3D. I mean,
it is
a cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah, a cartoon.
Yeah,
it was cool. I liked it. It was very gory. It's very gory.
Rated M for mature or rated T for teen?
Oh, if I had a kid, my kid would have to be a little older to watch it.
I understand.
Definitely gory. They left room for the sequel. It ended just like the actual movie did, right? Back in '95, which Shao Kahn is like, I'll do it myself, right? So I'm excited to see if there's going to be a sequel to it. And hopefully it won't suck like the original Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Annihilation? Oof.
Yeah. That movie sucked. That movie was trash.
They changed half the cast. They cut the budget. I mean, everything about it was just terrible. They added more CG. Oh, yeah.
But I will say I'm a little disappointed. I like the Evil Dead movies from back in the OG Evil Dead movies.
Yeah,
and I loved the Evil Dead TV show that was on Stars. I think it was prematurely canceled.
Ash versus Evil Dead, yeah.
The TV show on Stars was fantastic. It only lasted like 3 seasons.
Yeah, the remake they had in theaters was good too. I thought Evil Dead, the OG one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in
that's right.
in the mid 2010s, I think. Yeah.
So Bruce Campbell has confirmed that there's a new Evil Dead movie on the way, and he will not be a part of it. Well, I should say Ash. I think he said Ash is not. So it's not a remake. I guess it's still in the same world, maybe, but Ash will not be a part of it.
Right. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I really like Bruce Campbell. He seems like a good dude. All right.
Oh, listen, I loved him in Xena, Warrior Princess.
There you go. I thought you were gonna say Jack of all trades. You remember that show?
Oh my God! Well, that was a spinoff from the Xena character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. They had Xena, they had Hercules.
Yep.
And I thought those were both fantastic. Was it Kevin Sorbo, right? Yeah, Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He wanted to be closer to home. He got tired of being in New Zealand for like most of the year. So that's why Hercules got canceled, is because he left.
Oh, wow.
And Xena only lasted another year after that. So I think he said he could have did another 2 more years and it still hold his popularity.
Right.
I used to love Hercules, Xena, and they had so many different. They had so many different spinoffs. They had Young Hercules that came on Saturday mornings on Fox.
That's right.
It was the same universe. It was just Hercules growing up.
Yeah, right.
And then they had they had Jack of all trades. That was a spinoff from Xena. And then they had
the pirate one. Yeah.
And WB tried to do the trifecta because they had Sinbad, which was like a pirate.
Yeah,
it's in the same. I remember. I forgot what episode it was. I tried to get into it, and the guy said, "Hey, oh man, I thought you were Hercules or Xena," and he's just like, "No, I'm Sinbad." And I was just like, that's so cheesy. This show is never going to make it, and it didn't get past 1 season.
No, I did.
And they actually made a Sinbad. Yeah. They made a Sinbad cartoon too, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that. Man, I'm old. We're getting old, man.
We are getting old.
So
good to reminisce.
So I do remember that, but I got some good news for you, Dave.
Yeah. I'll lay it down, Dan. I think everybody collectively needs some good news. So
I got some good news for you. I got some. Good news. Daredevil has once again gone back to Marvel Studios.
Hey,
is that as good news as the PlayStation 5 reveal event?
Right. No,
but it's still good news.
It's not.
So Marvel Studios sort of had shared the rights with Netflix when they made that Netflix deal, right? And they obviously, if they're making a Netflix series, they're not going to make another Daredevil series somewhere else. So it was sort of exclusive to Netflix. It's been 2 years since they canceled. Oh my God, it's been 2 years since they canceled that Netflix series. So now the rights revert back to Marvel Studios. They can do whatever they want. They can bring back the same characters and put the show on Disney Plus, which I want them to do.
Doubtful.
They're probably not going to do. They're probably going to take it in a different direction.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, not that there was in continuity. Like they did mention the events in.
They were in kind of continuity. They were kind. I mean, remember the deal was made prior to the original Avengers movie coming out, and then when the Avengers movie came out, they referenced the scene in New York.
They did.
They referenced it in Daredevil.
Yeah. I mean,
then they referenced it, and then Jessica, and then they referenced it. They referenced it. There we go in Jessica Jones.
I mean, like Daredevil. Daredevil was like a few blocks over from where the incident happened in the first Avengers movie. So yeah, he's gonna know about it. You know, like it didn't invalidate anything that was happening in the MCU movie timeline.
I'm telling you, the show would have benefited and would have been better. And I thought they were going to do this at some point if they would have had a character, even a low level Hawkeye, have somebody.
Someone be like a guest on it. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I'm not saying like 100%. Be on every episode, but like maybe Hawkeye or Black Widow, somebody that was more down to earth, or even Samuel Jackson. Right.
Because he's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right.
You know, and they had the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, right? They could have did a crossover with a TV show and the Netflix shows could have made some guest appearances or something just to bolster.
Exactly. It's like a season ender or something like, but you know, they're different networks. They're kind of different entities. So
Well, I can understand.
You know?
Well, no, okay. So I can understand.
It's hard to do that.
I can understand the Shield and the Netflix shows, but you can have Chris Evans come in and be like Daredevil's hero, right? Like he looked up to Captain America, and that's one of the reasons why he's Daredevil or something like that, right?
Well,
or,
I mean, I think one of the big drivers is money, right?
Well, that's why I said a low-level Hawkeye or Black Widow, right? It'd have been a little bit cheaper, maybe
a little bit, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, it'd have to be like a season ender. It'd have to be like episode 10 of the season, and then it's like, all right, we're pulling out the big stops. You know, you're gonna have to wait another year for the next season to come out, but here you go, fireworks and all. So,
yeah, I mean, I liked the Kingpin. I just like that whole story, and I could definitely see that Kingpin be in the Spider universe as well, right? But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think Kingpin's going to be in. At this point, we're at the third movie. I don't think he's going to be in the same Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. Well, I bumped into that guy before.
Nice.
The guy who played Kingpin.
Oh, really?
The one from Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Yes.
He
terrible. I didn't like it that much.
He is a big dude. Let me tell you, like he is tall. Yeah.
So I totally forgot to mention this before, by the way. Side note. I know we mainly do like our pickups on our Saturday morning retro show, which you should check out. Totally awesome show. We talk about retro games and we dive do a deep dive into our backlog. It gives an excuse to play these old games.
We got a good one coming up this month too.
But cheesy plug.
Cheesy plug. Come on now.
So, but I picked up the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. It came out of nowhere. I got it in hand.
Oh, nice! You got the American one or the Japanese one?
I got the American one. I want to get the PC Engine. There were two PC Engines because there was like the PC Engine, then the Core Graphics, which was like the second version of the PC Engine.
Yeah, smaller, slightly modified version.
Yeah, but I picked it up. I got to say that back piece on it, totally irrelevant. Don't know why they added it, but whatever. It's not that mini.
It was part of the original thing, right?
Okay, well, it's not that mini. It is not. They could have made this thing smaller. It is huge compared to all my other minis, by the way. But I think it's really cool that I get the Japanese version and American version. It's a little annoying when you play the Japanese games and none of them are in English. So if you want to play Snatcher,
definitely can't play Snatcher. That's like the one game that you would want to play too, and it's like, nuh-uh.
But I like playing like Bonk's Revenge, Air Zonk, which is expensive, by the way. Air Zonk is over $100.
Really? I did not know that.
Bomberman, JJ and Jeff, Gradius 2.
JJ and Jeff, the best game on the system. No, it's good. It's it's a fun little side scroller. All like the shoot 'em ups are great. There's a large amount of shoot 'em ups on there.
And I gotta say, this is the longest controller wire of all time. I could be in the bathroom playing games.
There you go. See, Nintendo, you don't have a 5-foot cord. You have a nice 10-foot cord, so you can play it from your couch.
I may have to reevaluate the order of of the little mini systems. Because TurboGrafx is definitely up there, but I can say one thing that I think everyone would agree with me with. All the major mini systems, PlayStation is still the last on the list.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. The emulation
it's still terrible.
Bad. Everything about it.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Dan, even in these dark times, this is still my favorite part of the show. It's my favorite part of the week. I love talking about it. This week is very special because, as you know, I picked up Resident Evil 3. As you know, I've been playing Resident Evil 3. And now, get ready, as I beat Resident Evil 3.
Not surprised.
It was a fun ride, man. It was a fun ride. I took down Nemesis. Spoilers, he dies. It's really good. Not as good as 2. I was just about to ask. I agree with a lot of people because people were upset with Mr. X and how he was so random and he kept popping out like at random locations. And they streamlined the Nemesis encounters In the original one, you had branching paths. You could go one way or the other. So they got rid of all of that. They made these linear sequences where like Nemesis is chasing you, and everybody hated it. And it got objectively worse scores across the board because of it. So, what do you want? What do you want? Fans say they want one thing, and then when they get it, it's like, nah, we really didn't want that. Shouldn't have done that. So, I don't know. Otherwise, though, it's a fantastic game. It looks beautiful. It's on the same RE2 engine, so it's got those nice visuals, and it's a good bit of replayability. You can go back and play it again and all that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I recommend it. Wouldn't recommend it for you because it is very much in the RE1 and RE2 slow paced, limited amount of ammo type situation. So I don't think you'd be down with it, but
Yeah, no, not down at all.
so I know you haven't been playing Resident Evil 3, but what have
all.
you been playing? That is what I want to know.
I beat God of War Ascension on the PS3.
Nice. I've still yet to play that one.
That game I thought was underrated. I'll give my thoughts. I'll save my thoughts just for a later date.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I just
Ascension
wanna
was
say-
the PSP one that they ported to the PS3.
No,
Is that right?
No, Ascension was the last God of War game they made for the PS3, and it came out in March of 2013, right after the PS4 revealed in February. So it came out in March.
Right. So it got a little bit overshadowed.
It was the last hurrah for the PS3. It was one of the last hurrah for the PS3. Christmas 2, right? It came out. A God of War game came out in March, before the new console. It was a prequel to the original God of War.
Right. How creative.
Story-wise.
So badass.
Story-wise. So that's how you found out what happened to his family, or he found out what happened to his family. Even though we all knew from other games, like he didn't know, right?
Right.
But I don't want to talk too much about it. I can talk about it a later day in a later show. But for the most part, I've been playing a lot of Switch Online games. Like
Nice.
I did a little bit of Rygar on Switch
Ooh.
Online.
Talking about a hidden gem. Talking about an underrated game. That game is weird, but it is awesome.
And I've been playing Super Mario World 2-player because I want to beat it with Luigi.
Dan's favorite game of all time.
The best game ever made.
No. Dan's favorite game. Dan's best game of all time.
Yeah, listen,
You have to
Michael
qualify
Jordan.
it. You have to qualify.
Listen, Michael Jordan is my favorite basketball player of all time.
Well,
who just
he
so
is
happens to
objectively
be
the best basketball player of all time.
basketball player of all time.
He
And
is
Super Mario
the best.
World
He
is
is the best.
my favorite game of all time. It just so happens to be the best game of
Yeah, it
all
happens
time
to
as
be
well.
your
Same thing.
best
Same
game
thing.
of all time. Your best
Same
game.
thing.
You have to qualify.
Same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference. No difference. Just saying.
Oh.
So I've just been low key with it. I definitely want to dive deep into the collection and play some more old school games that we'll talk about more on Saturday Morning Retro. So, but until then, I've just been playing online games, Switch Online.
Nice.
So, with that said, why don't we take a break and we come back? We'll get into our top gaming news of last week.
This is Justin from the Lit Gaming Arena podcast, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers.
And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last weekend. We have to start with next gen. Next gen is here. It's official. The consoles are back. Sony has stuck their flag in the ground and said, we're here. And they came here in a big way, E3 style.
Yeah,
We got
very
this-
much E3 style.
Sony PlayStation 5 reveal, and it was long. It was an hour long. It was an hour and 8 minutes.
Yep.
It was pretty long, And I'm not gonna lie, they said they're gonna show games, and they did. 25 to be exact.
Right.
25 games.
And it
to be
was
exact.
it was all more or less gameplay. If it wasn't gameplay, it was probably an engine, I think, for most, if not all of this stuff. So that was very nice to see. Different than what Microsoft was showing, right?
Yeah. So, all right, but let's start off.
Mm-hmm.
They did start off a little slow, and I was a little worried. I got a little worried for like the first 2 minutes.
It was weird.
2 minutes, because they showed GTA 5 Online will be free on the PS5.
Yeah.
Coming in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point in 2021, you'll get GTA 5 Online for free. So you'll get a PS3 game, Xbox 360 game for free. Online for free.
2 generations old. Game that came
For
out
free.
in 2013. Yeah.
On the PlayStation 5 and most likely on the Xbox 3 and the Xbox Series X, right?
A game that was around when Obama was still in office.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's crazy. A game that is still one of the top 10 selling games of all time. It is week after week still in the charts. How? I don't know. Minecraft's not there anymore.
Who hasn't bought this fucking game?
I don't know. People must be buying it 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times over. They're giving it to their grandma. They said, "Grandma, it's your birthday. Have a copy of GTA 5."
I would love to see. I mean, we got the Bethesda grandma. She plays Elder Scrolls, right? I would love to see the Grand Theft Auto grandma. That would be nice. So it's free for PS4 today. You know, you can get it for free, and I think they gave you like $1 million in GTA cash if you sign up. So you could be a millionaire. You could be an instant millionaire. Instant millionaire.
Hey, probably be the first and last time that ever happens for me.
So they started off slow, and I was like, "Oh, this is. I don't know if this is gonna be a good sign." They're talking about a PS3 generation game.
Yeah, right. It's
and
like,
then they came out.
Got?
And then they came out guns blazing from here. Oh my God. Let's start with Spider-Man. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Coming out. Launch window, I'm going to say. Launch window, because they said holiday 2020.
Right. So probably like December or whatever it'll be out.
Yeah. So whatever the first like month or two of the system, you'll be able to, you know, pick up the new Spider-Man game. Now, I'm kind of questioning, is this the sequel to Marvel Spider-Man
they didn't call it
2018?
Spider-Man 2. So
that's true.
It's questionable.
So this could
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
This could be a standalone DLC, just like you know, what was the Dying, not the Dying Light,
DayZ? No. Metro Last Light. Metro.
No, that's a good guess though. Not Metro.
I'm just trying to help you out here.
Not Metro Last Light. What was Infamous? Infamous First Light. That was
right.
The standalone DLC for the Infamous game that came out on the PS4.
Right.
And it was standalone DLC, so it was like a smaller game, right? You're confined to a certain part of the map. And I thought that was fantastic. It was a great game, and I thought that we were going to get an Infamous launch game because we haven't seen Infamous since. And that was like 2014.
Since Second Son, yeah.
Well, no, First Light was the DLC that came out after, and that was like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So we haven't seen Infamous in like 5-6 years.
Right.
But so I'd like to know if this is a sequel where you sort of play as Peter Parker for like maybe 2 or 3 chapters, and then
they switch it over to Miles Morales. Yeah.
Yeah, or is this?
I mean, he has to kind of hand the torch off somehow, right? Because it's in that Spider-Man universe. It's in that version of that universe, right? So Miles Morales and Peter Parker both exist. They both don the suit. How does the handoff happen?
Well, I thought it'd be cool. I was talking to Mike, because Mike, you know, his biggest question was this a sequel? Or is this like a standalone DLC where it's a smaller experience, just as Miles Morales, just to wet your palate until the actual sequel comes out in a couple of years? But I said, you know, I hope. I mean, listen, if it is the standalone DLC where it's a smaller experience, I would love that too, right? Because it's
going to be great.
It gives me something to play in the launch window for the holidays. However, I would love it if this is like the direct sequel where you play as Peter Parker and then you play as Miles Morales for the rest of the game. And at the end, you get the Spider-Verse, right? The dimension opens up and you got different Spider-Mans, and that's the cliffhanger for the third version where you get to play as different Spider-Mans throughout the whole game. That would be awesome. And I told you I love the original Marvel Spider-Man. I think you should, play it and beat it because the ending was the ending to the story was so fantastic. You knew Marvel was actually involved with this compared to Spider-Man games of the past. Because I thought this could have been in the MCU. That's how good it was.
Oh, nice.
That's how good it was.
Yeah.
So we know that that's coming out launch window. So
Sony exclusive too. Let's not say they did not lose the rights to Spider-Man. It is still PlayStation. That is a
PS. Spider-Man Miles Morales will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Remember, they said there's no. They're not going backwards. So if it's a PS5 game, it's a PS5 game. Period.
Right.
First party at least. Then they showed Gran Turismo 7. It looked amazing. It looked super realistic. 2
exclusives right off the bat. Beautiful. I highly believe in Polyphony Digital, however you say it.
Say Polyphony?
Polyphony. I don't know. Whatever. Polyphony. You
say Breath of the Wild for Zelda.
Right? That was you, by the way, not me. All right. Episode 40 of Rated G, I believe. Breath of the Wild. That was all you. Get out of here. But no. GT, Gran Turismo, all the way back from the beginning. Right? They had cars that had they were fake reflections, but they were reflections. They had nighttime driving. They had, just an insane amount of cars, crazy detail. When GTA 3 came out on the PS2, my God, I was head over heels. And I'm not a car guy. I was just amazed at what they pushed out of a system that was around not even a half year, right? It came out October or whatever, right? And GT 3 came out in May, I think, of that year. So it was crazy. And all the other ones since, they even did a VR version, which I hope they bring back. But it looked pretty, as long as they have a ton of cars, as long as they don't pull a Forza 5 and scale it back to only 300 cars, kick out a bunch of stuff. I'll be a happy camper. I am definitely going to pick this game up, surprisingly.
Well, we don't have a release date. I imagine this is probably in the future, 2021, 2022. Yeah. But I thought we would have got a Gran Turismo 7 on PS4, but we got Sport, which was okay, and the campaign was definitely different than Gran Turismo 6.
Right, and it had the VR component to it, which was cool. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. I would agree with.
I think it would have been better if they had it ready. I know, I'm all for make sure it's ready. Put out a game when it's ready, other than rush it. I was hoping this was going to be a launch game, but if it was, they would have said it, right? But
of course they would. Yeah.
But then they kept coming, man. They had Spider-Man, Gran Turismo, and then they got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And that's because you're the different dimensions is a, sort of like a time travel, interdimensional tear in the fabric. You know how all that works.
This right? Whole thing, well, we don't, but science is still yet to prove. But
listen, in movies, TV shows, and video games, we know how it works.
Right? Yeah, it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey magic. It's great. But this was the major flex. This was this is the PS5. This is what we can do with it. And I was like, yep. That looks amazing. You have a day one purchase of this game. He's got this weird thing that he can grab parts of the world and pull it in, and then it switches to a completely different one on the fly. There's no load times. There's no stuttering. It looked beautiful. Well, yeah, it's very good.
All right, so I mean, I'm glad you said that because this was built. Mm-hmm. They made sure to tell you this was built for the PS5 from the ground up, right? And
it shows.
And the Ratchet and Clank remake was in 2016, so they had 4 years to make this game, essentially, right?
Yeah, it coincided with the quote-unquote great movie.
Movie trash.
I know.
On a Dave scale.
I know.
And maybe more, maybe 5 years, because we didn't get a release date or window for this. We just know this is in development. It looked pretty polished. It can't be far off. I'm gonna guess this is a 2021 game.
Yeah,
right, because you know how Sony doesn't like to put all the games out all at once. They like to spread them out. So I'm gonna say this is maybe a Christmas 2 release, right? Maybe I could say March, April, or May, in that time frame. And there's a female Ratchet. There's a female Ratchet in here.
There you go.
And she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know the male Ratchet. She's like, "Who? What are you talking about?" Right. So this could be like the female version of Ratchet, because they're in a different dimension. So I thought that looked cool. I was really excited for that, and I like the old Ratchet and Clank games, and Clank had his own game on the PSP, and I like the remake that was on the PS4.
Yeah, solid franchise.
So, then Square Enix came out with Project Athena, right? Looked like sort of a action game. We don't know much about it at all. We know it's multi-platform because Xbox came out right away. Aaron Greenberg was like, "Yep, Project Athena is going to look great on the Xbox Series X."
Yeah. I mean, you have to say that, right? Like, you got to get your punches in. I mean, it looks beautiful. Like, that's the bit that I was going to say. Like, it looks pretty. So, and again, like, this is kind of going with the theme of these are all in engine. This isn't like pre-rendered cutscenes and whatever.
Well, a lot of games we saw were either running on a PS5 or a PS5 dev kit, right? They made sure to tell you at the bottom in fine print that this is on the PS5 dev kit.
Oh,
right?
wow. Oh, I missed that bit. Okay.
So, certain games that weren't on the actual PS5, which, surprise, surprise, all the first party games were in a PS5.
Right.
A lot of the side games, and I'll try to go through it as we go through all the games. Most of the games, and I go through every single game, all 25. Some of them said this is running on a PS5 dev kit. So just keep that in mind. So Project Athena, don't know if they're going to drop the Athea. Sorry, don't know if they're going to drop the project, right? And it'll just be called Athea, or that's a working title, right?
Yeah. Project is usually kind of a working title type thing. Yeah, unless it's Project Racing.
Remember, we got on the Switch Project Town, right? And I think it was called Project Town or something like that, and it just was called Town.
It's just called Town at the end of the day. How much more generic could you get? It's Town. Is there a name to the town? Yeah, it's called Town.
Yeah, okay. That's the name of the town. Town,
okay.
Right?
Town is Town.
And then we got and then they kept hitting us with more games, and this next game was sort of out of this world. It was called Returnal. Right. That's what a name.
My vote for the worst name of any game in this presentation.
I thought it was called Ritual at first.
That would be a much better name.
But Returnal, and I get why they said it, because it sort of had a Groundhog Day feel.
Keep doing the same thing over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a female. The protagonist is a female astronaut who crash lands on this planet, and every time you die, the planet changes. I mean, completely, not just like the level change. Like, you can be in a grass planet, and all of a sudden you die, and then the next you'll be in a lava flow planet.
Right. It had some shades of a roguelike. I know not your favorite genre, but I could definitely see, like, you do a run and it's one way, you do a run and it's completely different, right? The enemy placements, the enemies themselves, the weapons, the terrain, as we saw in the trailer. So I'm optimistic about this. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, looks like an action, survival horror action game. Right, because it definitely had some horror elements to it, because every time you die, it was like you become one with the planet or something like that, or the planet's taking you over or something along those lines, right? And I mean, she went from having 2 brown eyes to 1 brown eye and 1 blue eye, right? So it looked pretty cool. I was into it. I can't wait to play it, and it's only on the PS5.
Right. And let's not forget, this is not first party. This is third party. This is from Housemarque, right? Who have done like Resogun and Outland and a bunch of other great games. Matterfall, Nex Machina, right? They have some good games under their belt for sure.
And the next, you want to talk about first? I mean, you want to talk about games that are only going to be on the PS5? We had Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Now, I know what you're saying. Sackboy, what the hell is that? That is the character that was in the Little Big Planet series, Little Big Planet 1, 2, 3, and Kart from the PS3 era. He totally skipped PS4. I mean, they had a Little Big Planet 3 remaster in the beginning, right? But we didn't get an original Little Big Planet game for the PS4, but we're getting Sackboy, who is a character, and Little Big Planet is sort of like Dreams meets, Super Mario 3D World meets Yoshi. So, Little Big Planet, it's a side-scrolling platformer where you can make your own levels too, right? And I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked it. I didn't play the first one. I played the third one because I played the remastered because it was free on PlayStation Plus. And actually, as a Saturday morning retro game, I should go back and play the first one. I may do that.
Yeah, see if it holds up. I mean, you should just call this what this really is. This is their Knack 3.
Well, this is the kid friendly game because it's sort of their character Sackboy in Super Mario 3D World / Yoshi's Woolly World, right? Because it's a 3D action 3D platformer. It looked really challenging, and I'm actually super excited to play it. And it looked like they had 4-player co-op in it too.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looks good. It's one for the kids, so you have this and Ratchet and Clank at least as like kid-friendly, rated E for everyone type games. So it's a strong showing so far, right?
Strong showing so far. They had their dips, like sort of in the middle, with a lot of games that you never really heard of from studios never heard of, and that's because they sort of incorporated sort of lesser known studios to give some shine. The next game, let me look. We're going to go through a couple of stretch of games of that, from lesser studios. Look, they had Destruction All Stars, which looks like a Rocket League on steroids.
Yeah,
right?
It was a first person shooter where your gun is the car, right? You could like get out of the car, which I thought was kind of cool. This has the potential to be something big. It all depends on how they. It all depends on how they work it, how the mechanics.
You mean
are.
it's just Fortnite with cars? Fortnite meets Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean it had that vibe for sure. On both levels, right? You got the cars with the kind of arena style like they have in Rocket League, and you have the visuals of Fortnite with like the first person aspects. You could get out of your car, like I'd like to see how the game like actually plays out as opposed to like a slick little like movie trailer, But we'll get some more info on it, I think.
It looked the aesthetic looked cool. Just wasn't something that captured me.
Yeah.
Something I was really into was Kenya Bridge of Spirits. That game really spoke to me because it looked like a Zelda. It honestly looked like a Zelda game or an Oceanhorn game, right?
Yeah,
Zelda clone.
It did have that feel, kind of big exploratory world. Sure.
It's from Ember Labs, so
I don't know them. I don't know what they've done before. I don't know if they're probably a newish studio, I think.
I tried to look them up earlier, but their website is down, and it could be because everyone is trying to look them up.
Yeah, right.
I don't know exactly what they did. I mean, Ember Lab seems familiar. But
wow, it is legit. Oh, it takes a little bit to load up, but yeah, I'm looking at what they have here now.
But it's
wow.
It's definitely like a Zelda game. I was all about it, and it looks like this game's going to be on the PS4, PS5, and probably the Xbox as well. Xbox One, Xbox Series X.
Can confirm PS4, PS5, and the Epic Game Store. Yay! And this is the only game they've done. The only other work they have on their website.
I thought it was cool.
Is a character reel, which has the Skull Kid featured as the thumbnail. So
then it shows you that they were heavily influenced by Zelda.
Yeah, there you go. You know, it all comes like full circle.
So I thought it was great that she had like a staff like Gandalf of on Lord of the Rings, and she can use it as a weapon, but she can also use it as a bow and arrow as well, like a magical string and arrow, right? So you can't run out of arrows, and you know how I hate running out of ammo.
I know.
So I thought this game definitely appealed to me, and it's like you're in this dystopian sort of forest, at least in the scene that we got. You're in dystopian sort of forest world. I don't know if that's just the level of you being more diverse levels, right? Scenery, but
yeah, hopefully they have some different environs in there. I'm assuming you do, given the level of detail.
And when you defeat whenever you defeat the enemy or the bosses, you turn this sort of desolate land more color, and it gets more grass and flowers are growing and stuff like that. So I was all about it. I was all about this. I was like, I'm excited to hear more about this. This is something I actually want to play on a Switch. This is something I would want to play on a go, like I'm on a bus.
I mean, it definitely has that Nintendo feel for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Zelda. I love all the Zelda games, mostly handheld. I got Oceanhorn on the Vita, right? Because I like these type of games. I don't have to actually be in. I can listen to a podcast. I don't have to be too invested in. As far as I got to sit there and in front of the 60-inch TV and play, right?
Yep.
So I love these games I love these type of games on the go. But a game I definitely want to play on the big screen, on PlayStation 5 is Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh yeah. If anyone remembers,
this looks awesome.
If anyone remembers, the Oddworld series got its start on the PC and PlayStation 1 back in the late 90s. And this is like their 5th or 6th game in the series.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, it does look.
They did have an exclusive on the original Xbox, right?
There was Stranger's Wrath, which I think was an Xbox exclusive. Came out in the launch window, and it was definitely a good game. That was the 3rd one in the series. They did a Munch's Odyssey, which was 1, 2. So this is like 5 or 6. And the designer, Lauren Lanning, the guy, the kind of genius behind Abe and Oddworld and all that, like he's helming this. So
this is the 5th game.
Points. Yeah,
this is the 5th game in the series.
Yeah. So it looks cool, like side scrolling. You have to free the Mudokons, right? And it's weird because the Oddworld games always have like a light, fun, airy feel to them, but you quickly realize that it's very dark. So it's a weird dichotomy, and this game is definitely no different, right? You have to save your friends from being killed because they're like all captured in this like weird prison or something. It's So it should be a good time.
And then we got the first game we ever heard about that was going to be on the PS5, which will be a launch window game because it's coming out holiday 2020, and that is Godfall.
Oh yeah, we finally know what this game is about.
Well, it's coming out. That's from Gearbox, I believe, and you got all these big epic boss battles. It looked okay. I wasn't too. Maybe I need to see more. Maybe I need to see an individual trailer with more gameplay of what the story is, because I'm a big story guy. But I wasn't that sold on it. I was like, oh, this had to be here because this was the first game announced for the PS5 at the Game Awards.
Oh, I don't know about you, but it felt a little like God of War. I don't know if you were picking up on that.
it felt like God of War in a sense of the big. Well, no. I
You
actually
didn't get those vibes. Okay.
I didn't get those vibes. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I'll be honest. When I saw it, I was kind of just like, "Oh, this is Godfall." Yeah, I sort of tuned out.
Oof. You hear that, Gearbox?
You know,
you hear that, Randy
No,
Pitchford? You got to do better.
listen, no offense to it, and I'm sure it'll be great. And hopefully, when the game, maybe it's just the marketing that didn't capture me. And that's a big thing too. You gotta, put out the right message. I mean, sorry,
right.
Wii U is definitely underrated because I think the Wii U has.
I agree.
Some fantastic games, and if they weren't fantastic, they wouldn't port it to the Switch.
Right. That's exactly right. Because they're like, well, nobody actually played it, so let's go ahead and put it out there so they can play it. You're right.
I just, marketing is tell me exactly that trailer didn't do it for me. So give me something else, closer to launch at least to get me hyped to play it. It seems to be a PS5 console exclusive, and for now, maybe timed, you never know, and Epic Game Store. So we got that. Another game was Solar Ash, which is from the creator of Hyper Life Drifter.
This was a high point. I don't know about you. This was a high point in the presentation for me because of the aforementioned Hyper Life Drifter, right?
It looked like pedigree. It looked like Hyper Life Drifter just in an open 3D world.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it did. Like it was those visuals just in the third dimension. And Hyper Life Drifter is fantastic. Had some nice retro futuristic look to it. Really tight gameplay. Interesting story if you want to peel back the layers.
So we didn't get much from this. It was very little.
Yeah.
But it's coming out in 2021, so hopefully as we get closer, we'll get more about it. So,
See, but
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
This compared to Godfall, right? This got us interested, intrigued, right? It wasn't enough to say like, "Hey, I'm gonna spend $60 off this trailer," but it got us to say, "Hey, I definitely want to see more. Like, what else do you have? Like, how does it break down?" Where Godfall's like,
well, Godfall gave me the generic sort of clash of just the battles. Give me, and I know I want to see the gameplay, obviously. But give me, I mean, is there a step deeper? Is there a story here? Why am I battling?
Right.
Give me a reason on why these guys, give me something. I mean, are they taking over the world? That world?
You need the IGN sneak peek. You need the IGN sneak peek.
There we go. Maybe they'll show more in the Summer of Games. And we're going to talk about Summer of Games, IGN Summer of Games later in the show. And then we got Hitman 3. Let's finish the PlayStation 5 reveal event. We got Hitman 3, more games.
Yeah.
That's coming in January 2021. We already got our first game of 2021 that's actually coming out.
January. Like that's you don't see anything come out in January. Like Christmas 2 starts at like the end of February to be real.
February,
that's
March.
Like yeah. That's like a dribble out from like we can't make it for the holidays. All right, we're gonna go ahead and push it to January. Like I can't even tell you. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna a quick aside. Can you name a good AAA title that came out in January?
Resident Evil 7.
No, that came out in February, didn't it? Was it February? Get out of here. That came out in February. Get out of here.
It came out in January. All
right.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, you had that at the ready. Well,
yeah.
Kill my argument. I'd say name another one.
It came out January 24th, 2017.
All right, you're right. Moving on.
Well, I mean, I get your point. Like, not a lot of good games come out in January. But
it's probably the worst month.
But I can see Hitman. Well, Hitman 3 gives us something to do post Christmas, right?
Yeah.
It's coming out obviously in Xbox Series X. Something that you can get exclusive on a PS5 that will be preloaded on all PS5 systems is Astro Playroom. Sorry.
Very happy to hear the return of the pack-in. Right. We haven't had a pack-in game for I don't know how many years, but here it is.
Well, they had a pagan experience with the same the little Astro players with the on the PS4. If you go in your PS4, you can feel them in the controller. I don't know if you remember that from back in the day.
What was that, the playroom or something? Was that right?
I think it was the playroom.
Yeah, I do remember that.
You can feel all the little Astro characters in the controller and stuff, and you can throw them out of the controller. I remember that.
That was a little more of like a tech demo-y thing. Like this is like a full-fledged game.
Well, this is a sort of tech demo game type. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. It you know, it feels like something I'll pop on for a couple minutes, try out, and go, that was neat. Yeah.
Well, something that's more of a game is NBA 2K21. Okay,
you had to get a sports title in there.
We got to get a sports title. And I said we were going to get that somewhere. I thought we would get that with I thought we would get that on the Microsoft stage, but we didn't. Yeah. We got it on the PlayStation. We didn't get any gameplay. It was just a teaser, and of course, they had Zion Williams, who's probably going to be on the cover. Talk about it. Well, we got Madden at the Xbox stage, so now we got NBA 2K on the PlayStation stage, and you know, Zion had a lot more sweat on him than he would have on 2K20. Right? Yeah. So 2K21, he had a lot more sweat. They put more sweat.
AF. Yeah.
He was putting in that work to help the Pelicans.
And it's interesting. I don't know the dude. I'm assuming he's a very good up and coming player.
People are calling him the next LeBron.
Oh, really? He's got that fire. Okay.
He skill wise, he came in and he was hurt and he has to watch his weight, and because of that, he's a big dude who's athletic. He's more of a more athletic Charles Barkley.
Okay.
And he got hurt in the beginning of the season, and he came back sort of in the middle of the season, and now they're in playoff contention. So the NBA is trying to come back and do 8 regular season games to see who can make the playoffs, and they're in contention to make the playoffs in the West. The sorry Knicks, they won't be playing. They won't be coming back this season. And don't get me started with James Dolan. Maybe I'll talk about him at the end of the show because
oh boy.
He can't make the right decision to save his life, but it looks. I mean, listen, all the NBA, 2K, Madden games are going to get extra features. The players are going to get more realistic, and I'm not going to be excited because of it. I'm going to get excited just to play my team play the season.
Oh wow, wow. Well, I did find it interesting that. I guess the current generation, the last generation, let's say the PS5 is out.
Generation, just say the current generation.
Sure, the current generation. They did both focus on the level of sweat detail in both games, right? They're like, look at all the sweat, like they was close up and the whatever. And I forget which one it is, but I know one of the series had dynamic sweat where the players would get sweatier over time. I think that was the 2K one, and then the live series, they were just like sweaty out the gate, and it was just sweat like everywhere. And I was like, look at all these crazy effects. It's neat, don't get me wrong, but it's just funny.
So this is the part of the show where it started. It was a little low point towards the middle, then it started to ramp up big time. Because after this, we got something that I was like, what is this game? And you're like, what? I don't know what this game is. Is this a new game? And then it was Demon's Soul by Blue Point, worst kept secret, remastered. I gotta say, everyone says Demon's Souls, and when I first saw it, I was like, it's Demon's Souls,
right?
And I was like, is this a sequel?
Singular demon, possessive, souls.
I was like, is this a sequel? Like, because they made it plural, like like Demon's Souls,
right?
And then I looked because I have it for the PlayStation, I have it for the PS3, and I was like, no, No, it's always been Demons Souls, but no one says it. Everyone just says Demons.
I'm in the same boat. I always thought it was Demon Souls, like a bunch of demonic souls.
Yeah. No, it's Demons Souls.
There you go. We've just been Kazammed.
Well, it was the worst kept secret because everybody knew Blue Point was working on it.
Yeah, and Blue Point is great, man. Like they do some amazing remasters.
Game not for me, but I'm excited that everyone else is excited.
Probably not for me either. Super high difficulty.
And then we got Deathloop, which I gotta say, I totally forgot about this because this was at the Bethesda E3 press conference 2019.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it last year, and we're like, "What? What is this game about?"
This looked so cool because you're like an assassin that has this full world of other like NPCs that want to kill you, right? Just regular NPCs that have guns or knives, right?
8 of them.
And every time you lose, you go back to the beginning so you could sort of, so if I shoot this person, I got to make sure there's somebody on the side of me that has a knife. So I got to make sure maybe if I shoot this person, I'm ready to shoot this other person to the right? Because you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again until you get it right. And you have these people you have to assassinate, but then they have not just regular NPCs, but real assassins that protect whoever you have to assassinate, and they will kill you. And I thought just the game loop was awesome. The gameplay was awesome. It was like sort of, I guess, Fortnite or Hitman in the Dishonored sort of the Dishonor aesthetic. So I thought it looked really cool. It'd be cool multiplayer if you're the guy that needs to assassinate somebody and you have the NPCs around you that obviously will kill you. So you got to, plan ahead, and you're the assassin, right? Multiplayer, you're the assassin that's protecting the person I have to kill. That would be pretty awesome.
See, right? You could do a what's the word? The asymmetric, right? It's like the one versus many, right? Because they said there was like 8. You have to kill the 8 before midnight or whatever, right? And those are like the big assassins, and then all the other people were kind of like the grunts in the world. I would love to see that as a multiplayer thing. That would be like super cool. I feel like it's going to be more of a single player experience, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, I love my single player games.
Yeah.
And then they showed a game that I was so confused, and they caught everybody for surprise because I thought this was going to be Silent Hill. I was like, and then I went from Silent Hill to I don't know what this is, and it had werewolves in it. Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this? And it turned out to be Resident Evil 8 Village, and of course, the Village has the I and the L, the 2 L's, which is Resident Evil 8.
Of course, it's the only reason they called it Village, because it's so generic of a name. But like when you see the 8, it's like, oh, okay.
And it looked. I mean, obviously, Resident Evil games are supposed to be more survival horror, but it looked a little bit more actiony, right? Like a mix of action in the survival horror, like Resident Evil 4 and being in Resident Evil 4.
Right.
And this is the first time Resident Evil has went in the supernatural route, right? Because we always went the virus, biological, biohazard, like the actual name of the show of the original game, Biohazard. But now we're going supernatural or werewolves.
Yeah, it's a nice twist. I'm excited to see the Village is a new scenario, right? It's not Raccoon City. It's not the
well, you're not in a house like Resident Evil 7.
You're not in a house like 7.
You're in a community.
Yeah. It's a little more like 4, right?
With a castle at the top.
Yeah. It's a little more like 4, except you're in the backwoods. You're not in Spain anymore. And I did like at the end. Chris Redfield is there, which I assume it's Chris Redfield, and he shouts out.
He said Chris.
And he shouts out Ethan's name, and he fires some bullets, and Ethan's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "Okay, you got me."
So I knew everyone would be crazy about that.
Yeah, look tight.
Then we went to Pragmata, right? Mm-hmm. Which I got to be honest, I thought was a Kojima game because it looked so out of this world.
Oh.
It's from Capcom. You are an astronaut in the middle of Times Square, and you have this little girl who has a robot cat, and then and then the satellite's crashing into Times Square, and then you're suddenly on the moon, and the girl doesn't need an astronaut suit because I'm assuming she's not human.
She may be some sort of android or something. Yeah,
it's a little out of this world. I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Well, did you notice the Cyrax from Mortal Kombat move that he did when he threw the net out?
Oh yeah, that's right. When he tried to
shield them both,
himself from the satellite.
Yeah. I was like, oh, straight into Mortal Kombat.
So this is coming out of
everything too. Yeah.
So this is coming out. This is from Capcom, and we got a long way to go. It's coming out in 2022. On the PS5 and Series X. So, and then they capped it off game-wise, at least. Game-wise, they capped it off with Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep.
Told you Zero Dawn.
I was with you. I was beating that drum too. It's time for a new Horizon game.
I told you the Zero Dawn was just a sub name.
Oh, sure.
Horizon is the name of the
Horizon
series.
Forbidden West now is the new title.
So now they're in sort of in North America or America, and they're not dealing with robot dinosaurs, but realistic animals, robotic realistic animals. Right? Say that 10 times fast. Right?
Robotic realistic animals.
You got this big tortoise. Huge tortoise. You got the big elephant, and you have a lush, colorful environment, and you have actual real animals that are here as well. And it looks like you have some underwater levels now, which look pretty cool. And it looked like it was in-game gameplay, and I was all about it. I am all about it. I need to go back and play the original Horizon Zero Dawn and beat it. Every time I play, something happens. I played the original and I got Zelda Breath of the Wild. And then I try to get back into it again, and God of War came out. So I just keep getting interrupted. So
if it's any consolation, I own it, and I still haven't played it yet. So you're a step ahead of me.
I keep playing it. I think the most I put in was like 5 hours, 5-6 hours, and I keep getting interrupted. And I think. Talk about our early episodes. I think I had an early episode where I said, video games should have like a tutorial of how to play.
Yeah.
So I don't have to start it over.
Yeah, right. How do I where's the training room? Right? Put me in the Professor X chamber, right?
Because there's a way you can get the machine to be on your the mechanical dinosaur to be on your side. And I totally don't know how to do that. So I got to do this. I got to do this all over again.
Right.
So we got that. They capped it off with the actual game, and then they did it. They actually did it. We got to see the console.
Yeah.
Finally,
how is that? Wait.
Console reveal.
How is that relevant, Tori?
Because everybody and their mother reported that we wouldn't get the console reveal. Everybody and their mother said they wouldn't reveal their console.
All right, you got to show the console. You got to show the price. And spoilers.
No price.
We got one of those things.
No. They're playing chicken with Xbox.
They are very much. Yeah, I 100% contend to that. They're going to wait as long as possible.
But they did get one up on Xbox. They did it. They showed not one but two consoles. We got the disc drive console, and we got the digital only edition.
Oh, sure.
Xbox 5, PlayStation 5.
All right. Yeah, it just makes sense. One with a hard drive, one without.
So the one without the hard drive looks a little sleeker because it doesn't have that side attachment to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has the sleeve. It sort of looks like sleeve with the vents going all the way from the top coming down the sides.
Yeah.
And it's two-tone. It's white, sleeve white, and the black middle.
Yeah.
And you can see
with
how
some blue accents in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see how they can have special editions where that white will be obviously changed to be a different color, a different tone, different texture for whatever special edition they want to put out.
Someone already mocked up a Spider-Man edition, the Miles Morales Spider-Man edition.
I know.
People are quick on the internet.
So it looks a little bit more futuristic. There are a lot of pictures of it on its side, vertical and horizontal.
Yeah, I'm glad you can put it on its side.
I like the fact, you got to buy the stand. I got to say this, and this is the one thing I don't like about, just the Sony consoles dating back to PlayStation 2, because the original PlayStation was just flat on the, it just flat sat. It didn't sit up as a tower.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sit vertically. It was just horizontal. Trying to buy a stand for all of these is like pulling teeth, because they're just like in low supply, period. I have the stand for the PS4, and I as a collector, I wanted the original stand, not a third-party stand. I scoured like 20 different GameStops until I found it. And it's just like, you can't find, it's like pulling teeth trying to find a stand. So I hope the stand, because the stand looked prevalent, like you need a stand. I hope it comes with it. I hope it comes with every
Are you gonna go like vertical with the system? Is that your jam?
Oh, I'm 100% going vertical with it.
Oh,
100%.
Wow, all right.
100%.
No, I'm keeping mine horizontal, man. Put it in the console, low profile, slide it in.
No.
Never see
I
it
have
again.
I have all these consoles from this generation, all vertical.
Well, I'll tell you what though. The added like benefit of putting it sideways, putting it in your entertainment console, is you don't get to look at it.
Well, I like looking at it. That's the thing. I like.
You think it look good?
I think it look good. I'm not a big fan of white. I'm not a big fan of white. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I will say white doesn't look dirty, at least fast, and like as fast as if it was all black, because then it looks dirty, because if you don't wipe it down after like a couple of weeks, it looks a little dirty because it collects dust.
Yeah.
So like my Xbox One X, the Scorpio edition, looks dirty.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox One S, the white version, looks perfect.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know.
we got the accessories as well. We got the 3D audio headphones, right?
Yep.
They're gonna come with it.
Yep.
Everything
was on brand.
We got the media remote. That's all white.
Yeah.
We got the HD camera.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the charging station, because this is like the first time we got a first party charging station for the controllers. Because usually you have a third party one, because they don't make one, but they made one that fits the aesthetic of the controllers and the console.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's going to be a wire from the charging station to the device, or if it's going to be like a QI charging or power mat or whatever the weird power delivery to the system.
What do you mean, like wire? I don't get it.
As in like, there are some charging stations that you still have to plug it in. It's just like, here's the thing, and there's a short little cord. I don't know if they specifically said wireless charging specifically.
Well, no. I mean, I have a charging station for the PS4 for the DualShock 4 controllers.
But you have a little wire for it, right?
No, I just put it on there. I put it on and I push it down. That's how I know it's charging, because it lights up when I push it down. It
clips into a thing which is connected, so you're connecting to the port. I'm like talking about the ones that it's a little mat and you just put the device down without any extra wire, right? It's not connected.
Extra wire. It's like you see the 3 prongs, and you just put it on and you push it down.
But that's connected, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
versus
well, I mean,
just
I don't
laying down on it. I'm wondering if they're going to do that or not. Right.
We still haven't seen the back of the controller, which is kind of silly to think about. We still haven't seen the back of it, so we don't know if it has like those 3 prongs to where you have to connect those 3 prongs to.
Oh, they're definitely going to have that on there, but I'm just wondering if they can do it like wirelessly, right? Because they have devices out there that do that. That'll just wirelessly connect. You can put it in your little glove box thing or whatever. You can just lay it on a mat and it's like good to go.
So overall, I thought it was a fantastic presentation. The middle part was a little had their lulls because there was a lot of indie games from studios we never heard of before. So it was a lot of new stuff. But the beginning and the end was definitely out of this world. I was super excited, and it puts pressure on Microsoft, and I'm highly, and I think Microsoft will step up to the plate. I am looking forward to
100%.
January's presentation.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, from like both companies, we haven't seen the UI. We haven't seen Halo Infinite from Microsoft. We haven't seen, I don't think, any first-party games out of the Microsoft studio, right? And they have like 12 big-name studios under their umbrella now, much like Sony did with their PlayStation studio, right? We saw a lot of branded games from the PlayStation studio. I can only imagine that the Microsoft studio will have some stuff in either July or August, and then it's on. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle.
All I know is I'm ready to pay over $1,000 for the PS5 because I'm going to get the 3D audio
for one console or for two consoles.
No. So I think it'll be $400 and $500.
Oh, yeah, price wise, you think it's going to be 4 and 5?
I think it'll be 4 and 5.
I'd say $450 minimum for the non-disc drive.
No. I think right now, I think the price. I think we're looking at who's willing to take more of a loss, because I think they're both gonna take a loss on every console.
Well, I mean that happens time and time again, with the exception of Nintendo. All major manufacturers take.
So I think it's how big of a loss you're gonna take. So I think 4 and 5. So I gotta buy 5. I gotta buy the $500 one with the optical drive.
Do you want to make a bet? Do you want to make a bet right here and now that the digital version is going to be $400?
No, because I think Xbox. I think Xbox is gonna. Xbox may undercut with their rumored discless version. They may try to undercut Sony and go even cheaper, and then Sony may have to respond. So I hope.
Yeah.
I hope it's 4 and 5, but if Microsoft goes $350,
oh no way!
Look for Sony to do the same. I look for Sony to do the same.
Well, I mean, it is definitely a battle.
Listen, the PS5 proper, the main one with the optical drive,
yeah,
that price is in stone, whatever it is, 5 or 6, and I think it'll be either 5 or 6 is in stone.
Oh,
I think in question is the discless drive.
Right.
I think that's the one that's in question, and obviously it depends on how big the hard drive is too, the storage.
That we don't know. Yeah, that's right. So Xbox has the terabyte, right?
No, we don't know. I mean, they haven't even announced their diskless drive yet. The diskless.
No. I mean, the one with the disk drive is a terabyte, right?
I think it's a terabyte. Yeah. I think it's a terabyte. Sure it's
terabyte, which is still pretty low, and I still think it's going to be a high price because of the level of like the type of storage is unique for both systems, and. You know, when we heard about Mark Cerny talk about that, the pipeline and all that, like, it's pretty specialized stuff. I hope you're right. I hope it is 4 and 5 for our wallet's sake. But I'm being a little less optimistic. I'm gonna go ahead and say 5 and 6 for both.
So I think honestly, I think Sony will go 4 and 5, and I think Xbox. I think they're both going to be 4 and 5 regardless. I think somebody's going to be higher. Somebody's going to be at 6 and have to come down. So whoever goes first, and I think Microsoft may undercut Sony. So, but regardless, it's still 5 or 6 for the optical drive version with the headphones, with the media remote, with the charging cable.
You don't have to get all that stuff.
I have to get those because look, they put so much effort into the 3D audio. I gotta get the 3D. I gotta get the headphones.
I'm not saying that. The headset is probably going to be super cool. We'll see.
Headset's going to be like $100.
The media remote you could do without. It's just a controller that changes.
Well, listen. If the console's $500-$600, I'm going to buy minimum 2 games. That's $120, right?
Sure. You need games to play. I'm with you so far.
and I'm buying a headset which is $100. What's $29.99 for the stupid media remote?
like by that argument, like what's another $120 to buy 2 more games? Like, yeah, it's fine. You might as well get 4 games if you're gonna get 2.
Well, $30 is different than $130. $30 is different. So
never go to a casino, Dan.
$30 is way different than $130.
Oh.
So, all right, so we got that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's shift gears and let's talk about last week, which we didn't cover anything.
No.
But the big news out of last week, video game wise, was Sega. Sega had the floor to themselves, and I gotta say they dropped the ball. I was very disappointed. We had the big news, right? They were hyping.
You thought it was going to be Dreamcast too.
I thought it was going to be. Well, they said it was going to be industry changing. So I mean,
yeah. Oh, it changed, all right.
It changed, all right. It changed how we looked at Sega.
Oh, Christ.
So originally, in the beginning of the week, they announced the Sega Game Gear Micro.
Yep.
And it's $50. Well, $46.99 in Japan. It's only in Japan only right now, so it's not going to be released in North America as of right now. They haven't announced any plans to, but if it did, it would be the equivalent of $50. 4 different versions. You got the standard black and gray, black and blue, black and yellow, black and red. In each game, each system, little mini system, had 4 games. Where you have Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, Royal Stone. The other one has Sonic Chaos, Gunstar Heroes, Buka Buka Animal, right? And you have Shining Force, Guardian, Gaiden. We have 3 Shining Force games, and then the other one sort of had Columns, Shinobi, Demon Slayer.
They're kind of themed in a way.
Yeah. And you can get all in Japan. You can get all 4 in a 4-pack for $200, and it comes with the magnifying glass that came with that you could have bought with the original, a mini version of that.
You're gonna need the magnifying glass thing because these things are tiny. That's the thing you're now mentioning.
Small.
Yeah, they're terribly small. They're like the size of a Game Boy Micro, but most of it is plastic. The screen is like a 1-inch by 1-inch screen. How are you going to play Shining Force, which is an RPG with a lot of text? It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Yeah, man. And $50 for 4 games? Well,
think about it this way. You told me I'm paying what's another $120 for another 2 games, right?
Well, because you said what's another $30 for the remote.
It's $30 for remote, which is
I mean, it's cool. It's the same form factor. It's a nostalgia trip, but yeah, I'm gonna probably have to pass. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this is what I'm gonna say. If it comes out of America, they're gonna force me to buy the shit. But if it stays,
you can buy it at $50, or
I would buy the $200 pack. Just have all 4 of them.
Oh my God, Dan.
Listen, I'm looking at buying the Amico. Okay, and there's an exclusive GameStop version that's purple.
Yeah. Okay.
If it stays in Japan, I'm not gonna buy this shit. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
They're saying, based on the current conversion rate, about $250 for all 4.
Still not buying it. Still not buying it unless it comes out to the. And I'll think about it if it comes out to America.
I'm not gonna buy it unless it's like $10 on sale at a garage sale. Like that's my level of. I'll get it because it's cute, but I'm never gonna play it. Like there's better ways to play the Game Gear. Yeah. I'll just emulate it. Like, they have good emulators out there. It's not a problem.
But you know what? The Game Gear wasn't the groundbreaking thing that they had. The groundbreaking thing that will change the industry. Mind you. That's what Famitsu said.
Right.
And that's what the journalist in Famitsu said.
Yeah.
Is their Sega Fog technology. Now, I know what you're saying, Dave.
Oh.
What the hell is the Fog? and I'm going to tell you.
I am saying that. I'm very curious.
There was virtually no difference in the fog compared to the cloud.
Still confused.
So, the arcades are still a big thing in Japan. Nowhere else in the world, but Japan is about the experience, right? And for the 60th anniversary, they announced a tiny version of the Game Gear. They announced the Sega Fog, meaning when the arcade closes, you could still play that arcade game at home from the cloud, but they're calling it the fog.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that arcade cabinet needs to be hooked up to the internet so you can play that same arcade game online, which means this is a Japan only thing because in Japan they have great internet service.
They do
compared to anywhere else in the world.
Actually, when I was over there, I played Tekken 7 before it even came to like consoles. I also played a Pokken Tournament too. They had an arcade version of that, and it was super cool before it came to the Wii U. And I was like, this is great. When I was playing Tekken 7, I didn't realize that all the machines were hooked up to the network, and I was paired with somebody. I don't even think in the same arcade. I was paired with somebody over the network as like a head-to-head thing, because they gave me a choice, like, oh, do you want to play versus or whatever? And they're like, yeah. So while you're waiting for an opponent, you get to play the computer. And then someone popped in. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I've never seen that before. Yeah, we definitely don't have that here. We barely have arcades here. And it looks like it's using Sega's all.net platform. So a lot of the like newer games have that. Even games that aren't Sega games specifically, like I think like one of the Dead or Alive games has that functionality. So it's kind of cool. I think you're right. I think we're not going to see it here because we just don't have the infrastructure, right?
No, this is definitely we'll see it here in 2030,
right?
And it'd be like a new thing. Like, oh my god, we got this crazy different type of Cloud 9 system in Japan. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, we had that since like 2020,
right?
Right. With Sega
like,
Fog.
It's a nice idea, but like, what arcade game are you really gonna want to play at home? Right?
Come on, I want to play Harrier.
Space Harrier.
Play Sonic. Yeah.
Well, those games aren't going to be hooked up though, because they're super old tech.
Yeah, they're gonna modernize. They're gonna
modernize it. Well, that'd be like kind of awesome. But I would say to that, I'd rather just play in the arcade, right? If it's like House of the Dead, I want the gun. I want the orange gun controller to play on.
But I can't wait, Dave. I can't wait for the arcade to open up. I gotta play this at 2 in the morning.
You gotta play it now at 2 in the morning. Well, there you go.
I gotta play it now.
There you go. Sega's got you covered.
So Sony had their event, but that didn't kick off E3 because E3 would have been this week. E3 kicked off with IGN, and they had their Summer of Games IGN Expo day one, and they had a lot of smaller mid-tier games. And I'm not going to mention all of them. I'm just going to highlight some of the few that caught my eye. Okay, and the biggest one that caught my eye was Alex Kidd in a Miracle World DX, which is, I thought, was definitely cool. Coming in the PS4, coming in the Xbox One, and coming in the Switch. I'm going to buy it on the Switch. I definitely want to buy this on the Switch.
Yeah. Same people that did the Wonder Boy remake? Is that right?
Same people that did I think it's the same people that did the Wonder Boy remake. And in the same vein to where you can switch to the new aesthetic and old aesthetic, right? And this is the game I want to play on the Switch. I want this on the go. This is the game I want on the go. I have it for the PS4. I own it on the Switch digitally because when it came out, it didn't have a physical edition, and it came out on limited run later on. Surprise, surprise, kind of pissed off.
Always.
So I brought it on PS4 because I missed out on the Switch. So Alex Kidd Miracle World DX.
Yeah.
Then we got Observer System Redux. Next gen game, PS5 and Series X. It looks like a survival horror type of game. So that game looked okay. A game not for me because it's survival horror. Maybe you can be more excited about that, right?
Yeah. It definitely has potential. We'll see where it goes.
then a game that I know you were all about because you love this style of game. You love Doom, right?
Doom.
And Doom Eternal. And that's Metal Hell
Fantastic.
Singer.
Yeah, Metal Hellsinger with a rockin' metal soundtrack. Definitely had some big name heavy hitters doing the soundtrack for it. Very much a Doom-esque game, a Doom clone, if you will.
Well, you know,
Right?
back in the day, Doom had lots of clones, so it's not surprising that we get a modern Doom clone, right?
So it's supposed to be a rhythm FPS game. I don't know how much the rhythm aspect plays into the game. If there's a scoring meter that is based on that, wasn't sure. If the music changes based on how you play, unsure. But the fact that they're throwing rhythm around could be kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's a hellscape. You run around, you shoot zombies and demons. It's good stuff. It's good family fun, Dan.
Yeah, that's some family you have, Dave.
Listen. The family that slays together stays together.
There you go.
That's the motto in my family.
From the man who invented Breath of the Wild for Zelda.
There you go.
You got exclusive gameplay of Yakuza Like a Dragon that we first saw at Xbox Series X event, right? We got DLC for Borderlands 3, Bounty of the Blood. We got a preview for that, and then we got a werewolf game. It's called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. So werewolves are in right now, right? Like we had zombies had their thing since the early 2000s, and they just never stopped. Never stopped. And then vampires in around like the early 2010s. We had all those vampire like True Blood and stuff.
Yeah, pirates are in there for a minute.
Yeah, pirates are in there for a minute. Now werewolves are making a comeback. Werewolves have a thing. They're in Resident Evil and they have their own game now.
I'm down with it. I don't know about you, but it's a nice.
Listen, Aquaman played in a werewolf movie that no one even cared about a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah, he was like the head werewolf. He was like the
Jason Momoa?
Yeah,
he was in a werewolf movie. Okay,
he was in a werewolf movie.
I gotta look this up.
He was like the main bad guy. He's like the main.
Not,
he was like the head.
It wasn't Underworld, was it?
No, it wasn't Underworld because that's werewolves and vampires. This was like
it is. It's just werewolves.
This was like just werewolves, like biker gang werewolves. He was like the main werewolf. He was like the main bad guy.
All right.
I thought it was gonna come out in theaters, but I think it was just released digitally. It's funny how we don't even say straight to DVD release, right? We just say
not even that anymore. Yeah, straight to streaming, right?
Yeah, straight to streaming. Well, now it's straight to streaming. Back then, it wasn't streaming. Back then, it was like straight digital.
Right.
Yeah, So that was a quick highlight of day one. Day 3 is happening now, so we won't have coverage of that until next week. But day 2. Just a couple of highlights. We got to talk about Nickelodeon's Kart Racer 2 Grand Prix.
We gotta talk about this game.
Yeah,
How are they making a sequel to this? Who wants this? Who is like, nah, Mario Kart's not good enough. Now, Crash Team Racing? Step aside. I need my kart racer. Give me some Tommy Pickles.
Yeah, listen, man.
Don't understand.
Anybody want the Nintendo kart? You know what this means, though, right?
Yeah.
You know what this means, though, right? I got to buy Kart Racer 1 before I buy this one.
Well, you got to know how the story goes, right? Right? How did Doug Funny end up in this kart racing tournament? You don't
It's still
know.
$39.99. God, come on. Price needs to be down to $15.
Wait. The first one's $40?
First one is still $40.
Oh my
It was always
God.
$40. It was
Get
always
outta here.
$40. It was always
Wow, Nintendo Nickelodeon Kart Racer 2. This is ridiculous.
$40.
This is ridiculous.
We got 13 remake. It's actually coming out November 10th for the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch and PC, of course.
Do you remember this game from back in the day, or
I have it on the GameCube.
you do? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was based off a comic, and the video game cel shaded first person shooter, and they did the little interstitials, right? The cutscenes were all like comic book style. It was pretty good. Back in the day, it was rated pretty good.
But the biggest thing they had was exclusive gameplay of Samurai Jack Battle Through Time.
Mm-hmm.
It looked pretty good. It looked really good, actually.
Yeah.
It looked like a more polished N64 game, to be honest. That I'm all for. I really want it. I really want to play this.
Yeah. Oh, it had
I
that,
wanna
that
play
very, very simplistic polygon style.
Well, I want to play it on the Switch. Hopefully, it comes out on the Switch. I haven't seen what platform. Obviously, it's PS4 and Xbox One, but I don't know if it's going to come out on the Switch. Hopefully, it comes out on the Switch because that's what I want to buy it on.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears. Let's talk more industry, right? And it looks like I didn't even know this until I was putting the show together that AT&T owns WB Interactive.
What?
And
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Huh.
I know.
Huh.
And it looks like the AT&T is looking to sell WB Interactive. Now you're saying WB Interactive. What does that mean video game wise? That means studios like NetherRealm, which is Mortal Kombat, and Injustice, just to name a couple of games that they put out. Avalanche, which is the Just Cause series, and Rocksteady, which is the Batman series.
Fame, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
Those are some big companies. I'm surprised that they want to get rid of them. I guess they think they can make good money off them.
Well, they want to make $4 billion.
I think they could get it. I think they could get more than $4 billion, honestly.
It's valued at $4 billion, and guess who's interested in buying? Because to me, $4 billion. Oh, you can keep that shit. I'll see it. I'll wait until it's 10 million at the garage sale.
I don't know, but I'm sure some heavy hitters want to buy.
Well, Take-Two, EA, and Activision Blizzard are all interested in buying it.
Not THQ Nordic, huh? Damn.
No, it's too rich for their blood.
Yeah, apparently with their 100 and some odd games that are coming out, they got
all medium-sized games, not a big AAA release.
Yeah, right. Well, all three companies do have the money. All three companies also have scandals. All three companies have suggestive business practices.
Well, we'll put it this way. Let's go through them, right? If Activision / Blizzard, but for the purposes of the discussion, I'm just going to say Activision because it's just weird to say Activision Blizzard. If Activision bought them, right, we'll get a pretty good Batman game, and then we're going to get a Batman,
game?
strategy game for the phone every
God.
We get a Batman Arkham strategy.
Yeah. Tap here to sleuth. Oh no, you're out of sleuthing. Pay $10 and get more sleuth clues. This is bullshit. Ugh. You're right. That's totally how that would go down.
So
pay $10 to unlock Punch. Ugh.
Well, I was gonna say if EA bought them, all right, we'll get a Mortal Kombat game every year, right? And it'll be microtransactions for fatalities.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
If you want to throw acid and have if you want to have unlock Scorpion's acid throw or fire spit to burn up your opponent, that'll be $1.99.
Yeah, you're joking, but that's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, I think the best company to buy them would be Take-Two. Out of the companies rumored to be interested,
yeah.
I think Take-Two, which is they do the 2K series. They're Rockstar, right? They own Rockstar. They own a lot of other companies.
They own Mafia, the BioShock, XCOM.
Yeah,
they got.
I would love
a lot.
I would love Sony or I thought it'd be cool if Sony or Microsoft. Microsoft's buying everybody, right? Why not for $4 billion? Where Batman. Imagine if Sony bought them, right? Because then Batman and Spider-Man would be exclusive.
Would be on the same console, exclusive, yeah.
Exclusive to the PlayStation.
As much as I want both companies to succeed, I don't want those games to be locked behind the console itself.
I feel you.
I'm just, the most amount of people to play the game. But Sony is a pretty good company, in terms of scandal and whatever else.
So this is the part of the show that's going to take a little bit of a different tone. And I even went back and forth if I even wanted to talk about this because this is very sad. And we did this show. We're recording the show right after I watched the new Dave Chappelle special that he posted on YouTube.
Yeah, which is out there for free, 846. Look up the reference. Watch it. It's
you know what? You don't have to look up the reference. George Floyd was on the ground with a cop knee on his neck, and he couldn't breathe for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you the reference because I don't understand why this is a debate. I really don't. This is not a debate. And let me say this right now, and we don't talk politics on the show. We try to take politics out of gaming, but this is common sense. This is just, straight being a good human being. I don't give two shits what George Floyd's rap sheet is. I'll be honest. I don't. Unless you told me he was a child molester, I don't care what his rap sheet was. And guess what? Those cops had no idea what his rap sheet was when they were arresting him.
Yeah, we said it last week.
That's why I don't care what his rap sheet was, because they didn't know what his rap sheet was.
Mm-hmm.
When he was kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, he had no idea if George Floyd was a rocket scientist or a career serial killer.
Yeah.
He had no idea. Okay. So, and this is personal, and we talk about Riot Games in the past about just being like a messed up situation there, right? With their,
I know some people that work and have worked there, and they can corroborate. So
they've been in the news, and we've talked about them, and Riot Games, I can't even get the words to come out with it of the things that they've done in the past, but this, I mean, I don't want to say I hate to say this takes the cake, because the things they did before this were egregious, just as egregious in my view.
I mean, there was a ton of sexism. There was a lot of favoritism in there. It was very much a boys' club. Tons of toxic masculinity. Some sexual allegations and the whatever and this and that. All of that stuff can confirm some bad shit went down, and they tried to fix it and apologize and the whatever, but
you know what? Let's call. I like to say people's names, okay? Because if a black person did something wrong, his name is plastered all over, right? When Ray Rice punched his wife, and I'm not condoning what he did, he deserved everything he got, but we saw Ray Rice's name everywhere. They put his name out there. They said his name.
That's right.
So I'm going to say this guy's name, Ron Johnson. Hey, Ron. Ron Johnson thinks, yeah, it's screwed up what happened to him, but guess what his rap sheet was? Yep. It's like he blames George Floyd for his own death. He blames the victim for his own death. And like I said, those cops didn't know his rap sheet. They didn't know if he could have been a rocket scientist or a serial killer. They had no idea what he was. And it's not the cop's job. And take it from me, my mother worked in the precinct for 25 years, something around, she worked for a long time, since I was a kid, since I can remember. It doesn't matter what your rap sheet is to be treated like a human being. You're not judge, jury, and executioner. You're an officer, and I studied the law. You're an officer of the court. That's your job. You're an officer of the court. Your job is to protect civilians. And if someone does something wrong, your job is to bring them in. It is not your job. It's not your job to judge them or execute them. So when is this shit going to stop? When? I don't know. I already told you my personal experiences last week. And I was talking to somebody today. I was talking to friends today, other attorneys today, about this. And they were just as shocked as you to hear my experiences, because they've known me for so long. And we don't talk about this because this is my everyday life. This is what is on my mind every time I go out. This is my mindset when I'm out. This is what I experience. something that they couldn't even fathom.
You know what? The one thing I can say about all this is it is a time to listen. That's it. It's a time to listen. Listen to the people who were out there in the street. Listen to the people who are saying there is a problem. You know, take all of that in, invite those people to the conversation, and then we can start working on some justice. Then we can start working on reform and whatnot. I mean, we're already like Cuomo is already pushing through reform in New York. Like he fast tracked that. He realized there was a problem. Like this is getting out of hand. I mean, now of, you know, however many years of it been going on, but, you know, at least we can say that the protesting is working, right? So you can't stop doing that. You got to get out there every single day, right? When Derek Chauvin, you know, you talk about saying people's names, when Derek Chauvin gets his day in court and he gets convicted, and oh boy, he will get convicted, right? It does not stop there. We have to keep pushing, right? Because shit's still bad, and it's only going to get better if you speak up, right?
Listen, I don't like to talk about these things. Right? Like I when I was putting the show together, I had no idea I was going to talk about this until I saw, and I guess full circle, let's come back a little bit. Let's reel it in a little bit because I kind of went on a tangent because it pissed me off even thinking about it. You know, Ron Johnson, let's say his name, Ron fucking Johnson. He is an executive at Riot Games. He was suspended because he posted something on Twitter or on social media essentially blaming George Floyd for his own death.
Yeah. Like you can't say that, oh, what happened was wrong, but also no, but you totally take away any sort of empathy that you have for the man. It's like, well, yeah, but he was a bad dude, so you know what? Maybe he deserved no, because what if he was a good dude? Just
like the other bad dude that you talked about last week that they sat down on the floor and got a fucking cheeseburger for?
Yeah,
from Burger
Dylan
King?
Roof. Yes. It's so insane.
And guess what? They knew who he was.
Yeah. Or how about Breonna Taylor with the no-knock search warrant? They busted in her apartment. Now she's dead. She have a rap sheet? I don't think so. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. Everyone's trying to just get around the fact that there's a problem in America, and people don't want to admit it because that breaks down their whole worldview, right? When you can finally stand up and say, hey, racism is still alive and well in America, right? You have to start rethinking everything about your life. I've done it. I've looked back at tons of interactions that I've had, and I'm like, wow, yeah, maybe I'm like, you know, doing a little bit of that, you know, maybe I'm saying some shit that, you know, I wouldn't normally say to, you know, somebody of like the same color as me, right? Like it's the small shit too.
Have you ever heard of a Dateline, A Bronx Tale? You ever watch that? You ever watch?
Not
do you watch
specifically,
Dateline?
but I mean, I watch Dateline from time to time.
So I work for a law firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get into a long drag out story or to have a long show. And this, I know this is the end, but I worked. The firm we were at, we moved to this firm, but the firm we were at previously a couple of years ago, one of the attorneys, they shot a Dateline episode in the office. You can see my head walking, my bald head walking in the background.
Oh shoot!
I could say my head was on Dateline. The attorney actually got a guy named Eric Glisson out of jail. He was wrongfully convicted of murder. Him and five other, I think it was five other. It was like the Bronx Tale 6. I think that's what it was called.
Okay.
He was convicted of murder in the Bronx. I think it was a cab driver, if I'm not mistaken. This was 2014 when Dateline did the special. So excuse me if I get if I don't get the story exactly right, because it's off the top of my head right now, because I didn't even think I would be talking about this. And I met him, and we were cool, and you know, I mean, we used to, you know, we used to like hang out at like firm functions because he would always be invited. he got wrongfully convicted in the early 90s in the Bronx, and the cops basically pinned it on him because they said, and they're quoted of saying this. It's in Dateline. You know, you can watch the special. Just go watch, Google Dateline Eric Glisson. You know, they said, hey, you know, if he didn't do it, he was going to do something, right? Like, really? He was in jail, wrongfully convicted, in jail for years. I think it was 17 years he was in jail, and the attorney got him out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know what. It was funny because I was talking to him, and he didn't know how to work a smartphone because he was in jail. He didn't have a smartphone. To him, he was still into flip phones. So, you know, if you don't think police brutality and setups are real, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying all police are bad, because that's stupid, because that is not true. But all African American, all people from minority groups aren't bad either. We're not all animals. And that's all I have to say.
And that's our show. That's episode 222 in the books, folks. We know we got a little heavy at the end, but you know, this is kind of what's going on right now. This conversation does not end, right? You know, we do one episode where we get real for a little bit, and you know, who knows? You know, we may end up doing this again a little bit. You know, we got to get the word out. We got to get our feelings, our opinions out there. We have to let people know that America is not going to stand for this anymore. So we do want to thank you guys for sticking with us on the show. We know it was a big, long show. There's a lot going on. It was a big week in every sense of the word. So, you know, thank you guys for listening, downloading, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. And if you want to interact with us, we are online. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Patreon at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we're part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. If you need other good stuff to take your mind off things, if you need a good podcast to listen to, I know the world's starting to open up again, check out gamingpodcastalliance.com. Check out the fine people on there. There's a ton of good podcasts. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.